News Radio 700 WLW.
You know that summer is one of the big times of the year to get a divorce. Oh, it is. Everybody says, well, what about January starting over? What about September going into the holidays? No. Summer, the sunlight, warmth has a liberating effect on the brain. We know this. People feel better when they're outside. People think better when they're outside, and they're consuming the great sunlight we have here occasionally in the tri-state. But it is also a time when a lot of people reassess where they are in relationships and marriage, and it's also a time when divorce rates seem to take off. Now, in the bad old days, divorce was kind of a stigma for some people. Oh, she's divorced, you know that? Now it's like, so what? Now it's almost one of those things that you celebrate because a chapter of your life is closed. Obviously, it was not a good chapter if a marriage ends in divorce, and it's the start of a new life. And a lot of people, particularly women, are having parties, celebrations at the end of a divorce as they begin a new part of their life. I had no idea about this. I thought, you go to court, you fight over whatever you fight over, you settle it up monetarily, and everybody goes their separate ways to either grieve or to try and figure out what's next. But no, apparently parties involving divorce are just the rage now. I guess you go on TikTok, which I don't, and you find out about these things. That's led me to my next guest. Sari Dangler is a mental health expert. She's a licensed professional counselor, and she knows all about this stuff. She's going to spend some time with us here on 700 WLW. Sari, how are you on this glorious Saturday?
I'm doing great, Ken. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I am not scheduled to go to a divorce party tonight, but apparently there may be some within the sound of my voice. Tell me about these things. What's going on here?
I think it's really what makes you happy. Do you. So quite often these parties are just kind of celebrating the new start or new beginning and leaving the past behind. Divorce doesn't happen, in a relationship when you're happy. So leaving something like that behind and celebrating that new fresh start, it's a great idea.
I have luckily never been divorced, but I understand it's almost a sense of liberation that you feel when it's all over, because if you go through a contentious divorce where there is custody involved of children, when there is possessions to fight over like homes and whatnot, that it is a laborious process and it takes a toll on you from an emotional and mental standpoint, and that there is this sigh of relief that's over. And so rather than go back in a home and cry and wonder what might have been, you celebrate this liberation. This is not anything different than any other traumatic experience that one would go through in life. Am I right about that?
That's true. Divorce, no matter how contentious or easy and consensual it is, it's never easy. It's a loss. It's a loss of a relationship. It's a loss of a family. It's a loss of something that you know and how to handle. And it's kind of scary sometimes to go to the next chapter. So why not to have this party where you surround yourself with people who love you and support you and help you kind of transition to that new phase of life?
But it's where we are, as a society, because you can go back not that long ago, 25 years ago, maybe a generation ago, and you would never have thought about something like this, right? That just probably would not have entered your mind. This is a brave new world out here when we get to this kind of stuff, is it not?
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Ken. So I think it's much more acceptable now to get a divorce. So yes, I can say that older generation, they stuck through thick and thin. But if you are really unhappy in a relationship, and quite often and usually divorce does not happen on a moment. So it's a process. And at that point, when you decide to separate from someone, usually things have been pretty bad. And so I think, and I always say to my clients, your happiness really matters. If you're in a relationship that doesn't make you happy, even if you have all this stuff, do something about it. And it's not an easy decision. That's why it takes a long time to get to that point and decide, because it is a big loss.
Sure it is. And I don't sense that this is just a bunch of divorcees getting together on the day of the decree and just slamming back drinks and getting sloppy drunk. I just think it's it's like a birthday, or it's like a graduation party. It's just, you know what? I'm just happy that this thing is over. I don't think we're talking about drunken brawls here, are we?
No, I don't think that's what it is at all. So, I mean, obviously, yes, it's a good reason to party and gather people together that love you and support you. Why not? But no, usually that's not it. It's kind of like you said, it's a chance for something new and a new phase in life, and have something better.
Yeah, I don't think it's any different than what men did back in, the bad old days. I mean, I took us back 25 years when no one would ever think about this. If a guy, goes through a divorce is over, he'll go out with his buddies, they'll have some beers and whatnot. So it's probably just one gender catching up with the other one. This is what it looks like. This seems to be more female specific than male specific. Am I right?
Yeah, that's interesting. So that I have to say that these parties are kind of new thing for me too. And just some self-disclosure, I went through divorce. I didn't throw a party, but I never regretted it. Now I'm much happier in life, and you kind of like give yourself a chance of being happy and finding someone that loves you the right way.
Yeah, I mean, my wife went through one of those, and she said when it was over, she danced on the steps outside the courtroom. And it's okay, I mean, it was a way of relief. Now, if that happened in this day and age, who knows? She might have gathered all of her friends, and they could have had this kind of party. But I think the important thing here, and I think this is an interesting way of getting into this discussion. Life is too short, and you need to do things that make you happy. Someone once told me, this is not a dress rehearsal that we're going through. And if you go through life and you're carrying baggage, why not lose that baggage? You're certainly not going to lose it in one night, having a party to end a traumatic part of your life. But certainly it speaks to the fact that you need to address the things that have burdened you from a mental and emotional standpoint, and just understand that 90% of life is pretty damn good, and you better start embracing it now. This speaks, I think, more to a greater picture than just, hey, the judge just said it's final and I'm free and clear, let's go. I think there's a bigger thing at play here, don't you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I like that saying. So life is definitely too short to be in a relationship where you're unhappy, and who knows what's going on. Like in lots of the time, there might be abuse. There's people are cheating on others, and sometimes people get stuck in this relationship because they have children, and then they kind of just stay in it until children graduate. But imagine children even growing up in that kind of environment when there's lots of discord and tension and arguments and whatever that is. So yes, life is too short. Give yourself a chance to be happy and for happiness.
Why is it difficult for us to be happy? I mean, you're a licensed professional counselor. You have your own business. Divorce is one thing that could make someone unhappy for a significant amount of time. Illness could be another reason why. The loss of a family member through illness could be another reason why. Tragedy, God forbid, for a child could be another. But it seems separate from those traumatic experiences, it seems like in our country anymore, we have trouble being happy, or we have trouble embracing the good things in life. I mean, we can get as deep into the weeds as we want with this, but to me, it seems like there's been a lot of joy extracted from a great number of people in this country. I don't know why, because we as people right now are making more money than any of our parents or their parents did. We have better medicine at our disposal than our parents and grandparents did. And we have more things to occupy us, to entertain us. Why do we have in this country such a tough time just being happy?
Yeah, that's a hard one. There can be lots of reasons for sure. So I think a lot of time I say that with people that I interact with, whether it's in my sessions or otherwise, we quite often count on that happiness on some other person. So really the happiness has to come within you. You have to love yourself. You have to do things that make you feel better. So I can't tell you how many times I told my clients that, even when they're in a miserable relationship, I can't leave because I'm going to feel lonely and they make me happy. You can't count on that. You really have to do things that make you feel happy. And I feel that in our world, we are very materialistic right now. It's all about stuff. Stuff doesn't make you happy. You have to have people in your life who make you, who you interact with, and that interaction makes you happy, or you have hobbies, or you do things that fulfill you in life. So that's really where it has to come. It has to come within you to be happy, and then you add someone to your happiness, or who makes you more happy or happier.
Here's my thing about stuff. Stuff is great, but stuff breaks. And invariably, stuff has to be fixed. The house needs a new roof. The car needs a new muffler. Stuff breaks. And then stuff costs you money to fix it. And then that makes you unhappy. So the whole premise of the story is don't get a lot of stuff, because invariably it's just going to make you unhappy.
Yeah, that's true. On that moment when you get it, you feel happy about it. But yes, eventually it's going to wear out and break, and then you need new stuff to make you happy. So if there's really other things in life that can make you happy, movement, I think that's another thing that's lacking quite often, that we take our car from one place to another. Movement makes us happy. Whatever makes you happy. You love being in nature, go to the nature and have that experience. But kind of like, and sometimes it is hard when you think about what does really make me happy. And quite often it is when I go shopping and I buy new clothes. It makes me happy for that moment.
Sure.
But that's not really lasting happiness. So
right.
You have like a deeper meanings, and if not something else, you can explore that with your friends or professional, whoever that is, to kind of find it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go shopping. Right. Well, of course, eventually the clothes go out of style. So you got to replace the clothes, and that's going to cost you more money. And then you're going to be upset with spending more money on clothes that went out of style. That's my whole thing on stuff, Doc. What happens if I'm invited or you're invited to a divorce party here in the near future? What is the proper gift to bring, would you say?
And I have actually no idea. I would ask whoever is getting divorced what they need. So I think always the best choice is the person that you're celebrating. Maybe they just need you there. Maybe that's all they want. Maybe they just want you to share that moment with them and know that you are there for them, and help them transition and support them. Because like I said earlier, it is a loss, whether it's a happy thing. There's going to be tough days when you think back or maybe regret doing it. And quite often human mind it focuses on the positives when time passes. Then you start reminiscing on all those great moments with that person. So you need lots of people, and you need that support system around you. So maybe that's just it.
That's it. Positive, you mentioned it. That's where you can find, Positive Path, positivepath.us, positivepath.us. All right, Sorry Dangler, thank you for your help today. And the next divorce party I'm at, I'll think of you.
Of course. Thank you, Ken, for having me.
You bet.